Right now at 5, the journey home.
A deputy, a husband, and a father mourned tonight by an entire community and department.
It's a hard job. People sometimes don't really stop to think what the law enforcement officers go through every day. You can't take everything lightly. You can't assume anything.
More complete coverage on Deputy Mark Burbridge's life, his memorial, and the investigation into his murder starts now.
Live from 7 Burlington Station, this is Omaha's news leader. KETV NewsWatch 7 at 5.
A hero's return.
So it's not just somebody that you just hang out with. You know, it's personal and it's family.
A loss felt deeply by those who knew Deputy Mark Burbridge and those who did not.
You know, you still have the loss and the shock of what happened, but everybody's got things they got to do. It's hard to understand when, you know, you actually realize what has happened. I mean, it's just such a shock.
The body of a fallen deputy comes home, escorted by his law enforcement family and communities showing their support.
And that escort extending all the way from Ankeny to Council Bluffs this afternoon. A reminder that the bond between everyone wearing the badge knows no end.
We have continuing team coverage at 5 tonight following yesterday's jail shooting that killed a Pottawatomie County deputy and wounded another.
We begin with KETV NewsWatch 7's Taylor Barth, who was there as Deputy Burbridge's body returned to Council Bluffs.
The procession ended here at the funeral home, bringing Deputy Mark Burbridge's body here back home to Council Bluffs, followed by an autopsy in Ankeny. We brought you coverage from multiple locations along the procession this afternoon, from Underwood to Council Bluffs. Hundreds lining the streets to show support for Deputy Burbridge, his family, and the Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office. I was at the corner of 16th and Broadway as the procession made its way over the 16th Street Viaduct. Council Bluffs firefighters and police officers also there to pay respects, and a man who knew Deputy Burbridge since he was just a teenager.
We work together all the time, and so it's important for us to show our support for law enforcement, and they're out there with us, backing us up on EMS calls and fire alarms, so it's important to be there with them.
It's disturbing to me, very disturbing. The city, like my grandson said, the city lost a good man. Mark would give you the shirt off his back if you needed it. But he could be tough too.
Now, visitation and funeral services are still pending. However, a memorial fund has been set up for Burbridge's wife and 3 children. If you would like to make a donation, you can do so at any Trainer State Bank location. There are 7 in western Iowa. You can also donate via PayPal by sending donations to markburbridge7810@gmail.com. Just know it's for the Mark Burbridge Memorial Fund. Reporting live in Council Bluffs tonight, Taylor Barth, KETV NewsWatch 7.
Taylor, thank you. And we have watched today the emotional scene outside the Pottawatomie County Jail.
Strangers connecting in grief. A man who says he knew Deputy Burbridge since childhood, and a woman he'd never met found comfort in sharing their emotions this afternoon.
I tried to keep my emotions together, but it's extremely difficult once you get right here, you know what I mean? So,
God bless your family. Keep your wife and your children in perfect peace. Give them understanding, Lord, where they may be wondering why. Let them be okay. Let their heart be soothed in your name, and give them peace, Lord.
Pottawatomie County Sheriff Jeff Danker says the loss of one of the department's own is hard to grasp.
Yeah, but he adds that deputies are getting help and support from other departments. KETV NewsWatch 7's Chin Doan continues our coverage. Chin?
Yeah, that's right. All day long, people have been stopping by the jail here, leaving memorials for Deputy Mark Burbridge. Let's show you a live look right now. You can see parents bringing their children, strangers coming together. Now, the most emotional moments were this morning when members of the Canesville Riders Honor Guard placed a wreath in front of the fallen deputy's cruiser.
Anyone that's been in maybe the armed forces, military, when you're with a group like that and you train and you're with them, you know your partners, you know that they have your back, you've got their back, and you bond. It's a bond that happens. Okay. Okay. So, sorry. So it's not just somebody that you just hang out with. You know, it's personal and it's family.
And after a short ceremony outside the jail, Sheriff Jeff Danker walked out and thanked the group for coming and showing their support. He says he's still trying to process this tragedy.
It's just hard to grasp. It's hard to understand when, you know, you actually realize what has happened. I mean, it's just such a shock. It happens so fast. It's just in a matter of seconds. So we really appreciate the support for law enforcement, not just us, but law enforcement in general.
Sheriff Danker says he visited with the fallen deputy's family last night, and they told him that they're still in shock and they're really busy planning the funeral. As for the other deputy who is in recovering and stable condition, the sheriff also spoke with him, and he also told him he's still trying to process everything that happened. Reporting live at the Pottawatomie County Jail, Chin Doan, KETV, NewsWatch 7.
Chin, thank you. The thin blue line. It's a symbol of the sacrifice, bravery, and heroism that our law enforcement embody every day.
Yeah, and you will see this stretch across downtown Council Bluffs. And KETV NewsWatch 7's James Wilcox is live along Broadway with that story.
It is a simple yet powerful show of support here in downtown Council Bluffs. Across dozens of businesses, a thin blue line, a way to pay tribute to Deputy Mark Burbridge. Elisa Roth started putting the tape up this morning. She's the owner of Bloomworks Floral. Inside, a continued show of support. They're putting together blue ribbons and giving them away to anyone who wants one.
There isn't anybody around here I don't know that isn't touched by the incident, so it's just a way we can come together.
And a focal point for the community to pay their respects to Deputy Burbridge, his police cruiser parked outside the Pottawatomie County Jail. KTV NewsWatch 7's Lauren Scott talked with those coming to reflect and mourn.
A solemn tribute outside of Pottawatomie County Jail. The Council Bluffs community coming together to pay their respects for a man many described as kind and courageous. Deputy Burbridge's cruiser now covered in flags, flowers, balloons, and cards. Many struggling to come to terms with this happening in their community.
I was shocked to hear something like that happened here.
And even though many never met Burbridge, they feel as if they lost one of their own.
Well, the first thing I thought was my heart went to clear down to my soul.
We all walk under one thin blue line, and so it just hurts.
In Council Bluffs, Lauren Scott, KETV, NewsWatch 7.
All right, now the breaking news in the investigation. All of this unfolded Monday morning inside of the Pottawatomie County Jail.
Yeah, the suspect, Wesley Correa Carminati, opening fire on two deputies after returning from court for a sentencing on a previous murder conviction. Today, we confirmed Correa Carminati somehow worked his way out of his handcuffs over the course of that incident.
KETV NewsWatch 7's Camila Ortiz live with those developments.
David, Melissa, Council Bluffs just released new details about charges Correa Carminati faces and some witnesses investigators want to talk to. Take a look at these pictures. They're from the area of North 16th and Nash Boulevard from yesterday morning around 11. Again, these drivers are just witnesses, not suspected of doing anything wrong. Police think the drivers here may have witnessed the attempted carjacking and shooting that Correa Carminati is suspected of. After firing at the deputies, Omaha police reports say Correa Carminati confronted a woman at gunpoint near 25th and Avenue I, forcing her out of her car, then back into the driver's seat because, quote, he could not drive a manual transmission. Correa Carminati has his first court appearance tomorrow. Douglas County Attorney Don Klein says the suspect could be back at the Pottawatomie County Jail soon if he waives extradition.
What we'll do is we'll defer to Iowa as far as the charges. So that means we'll probably dismiss our cases at some point and send him back over there to face those charges.
The Council Bluffs Police Department is accusing Correa Carminati of 10 total crimes, including first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, and kidnapping. He's still in the Douglas County Jail tonight. Back to you.
All right, Camilla, thank you. Deputy Burbridge is remembered tonight as a good man and a solid law enforcer.
Yeah, and those who worked with him want his memory to live on. KETV NewsWatch 7, Sarah Feely live with that part of the story.
I spoke with 3 of Deputy Burbridge's former co-workers today. They worked with him in Denison, Iowa on the police force there. All of them say they're lucky they got to call him a friend, even if only for a short time. Current Police Chief Dan Schaefer was with the Iowa State Patrol at the time and worked with Burbridge. He recalls the deputy as a jokester who could light up a room. He says yesterday was incredibly somber as he notified his department of the loss of a friend.
It's very somber news for anybody that works in law enforcement. But when you know those individuals, you know, it hits close to home and it hits you in the heart.
Tonight at 10, we're hearing more from Deputy Burbridge's former co-workers and friends as they share their favorite memories with him. Many of them say they'll always remember Mark Burbridge's smile and love for the law. Live tonight, Sarah Feely, KETV News Watch 7.
All right, Sarah, thank you. Stay with KETV News Watch 7 for continuing coverage in the next few days. We'll be posting breaking updates in the KETV mobile app and on KETV.com. You'll also find a complete timeline of the events and details on funeral arrangements as soon as we get those. Well, still ahead at 5, more local news, including Iowa Governor Terry Branstad on Capitol Hill today.
Yeah, the nation's longest-serving governor faces lawmakers for his first confirmation hearing to be U.S. ambassador to China. We'll be back after this.
You're watching Omaha's news leader, KETV NewsWatch 7, with David Earl, Melissa Fry, and your Weather Now forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Randby. Live from 7 Burlington Station. This is KETV NewsWatch 7 at 5.